Welcome back, everybody. Week 8 edition of Veggie's Daily Fantasy Corner coming back at you again. Happy Halloween weekend. This is the Halloween special. See, I got my pumpkins here, getting all festive, ready to go. I got my Buzz Lightyear hat on. Let me check to see if my audio's right. Oh, yeah, we're right. Got my Buzz Lightyear hat on. I just bought this today from Target. Thinking about wearing this, too. I don't really know what I'm going to wear for Halloween quite yet. If I can figure out this wig. It's either the astronaut helmet or I got my little wig on, and I could maybe wear that. Pair that with the Vikings hat. I don't know yet. I got my hair back. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, man. I'm kind of rocking with the astronaut for this Halloween though. A nice little vibe to it. Nothing too crazy. Take it on and off easy. Doesn't get itchy like the wig would. So I think I'm gonna be rocking with this Buzz Lightyear thing for now. But that's not why we're here. We're here to get into these picks. Last week's picks, I did all right. There was a couple guys who I thought were really going to go off that did not have the points that I projected them to have. One of them being Daryl Williams and the Kansas City Chiefs. He ended up only having 8 points, but the Chiefs also had a terrible outing against the Tennessee Titans last week. That was a brutal showing by them. I don't know how they're going to turn that around, but that definitely influenced his point total. Jamar Chase, of course, going off again like usual. He's putting up stupid numbers this year. I project him to continue to keep doing that. And the Carolina Panthers defense. I told you guys last week that the Panthers defense was going to go crazy. They sucked. They got 2 points. They let up a ton of points against the New York Giants, who aren't honestly a very great team. And they crapped the bed, essentially. So those are really the only picks I was wrong on. All the other guys had a pretty good outing. So into this week's picks. We're going to get right into this week's picks. Just going to navigate to my guys here. I got a good slate, I feel like. For this Sunday's games, I feel like I got a really good slate going on here. I'm going with quarterback Jalen Hurts yet again. He had 24 points last week, and he plays the Detroit Lions this week. He yet again has failed to put up less than 20 fantasy points in a game this year. And with the quarterbacks on the list, I think Jalen Hurts is the best bang for your buck because Mahomes is just not getting it done this year, man. I was really riding the Mahomes wave for a while. I was like, he's going to be getting the fantasy points. He's going to be putting up the numbers. He's not doing it, man, and his team's record is showing it. I feel bad for him, honestly. But so we're not going to roll with Mahomes. We're going to roll with Jalen Hurts at $7,200. After that, the 2 running backs. We're going to go with Kenneth Gainwell from the Philadelphia Eagles, and then we're going to roll with James Robinson from the Jacksonville Jaguars. James Robinson is going up against the Seattle defense, who is not the greatest against the run. And honestly, they're not the best defense overall. So I think James Robinson is going to continue what he's been doing this whole year. I think he's going to continue to run that football, continue to get those PPR points, and continue to boost up those numbers. Gainwell for Philadelphia, he's filling in for Miles Sanders, who got injured last week. This week, it's going to be a tandem with him and Boston Scott. Those two are probably going to share time, but I think Gainwell is going to have about a 70% to 30%, if not like a 65 to 35% share carry over Boston Scott, just because they like him more. The experts have been saying that this Gainwell guy, when he gets the touches, he makes more out of them than Boston Scott, and he's more of an more through the air guy. So Jalen Hurts is going to be giving him the ball, which is going to not only boost Gainwell's points, but it's also going to boost Hurts' points as well. So we're going to do a twofer here, and we're going to get Jalen Hurts throwing Gainwell the ball, and we're going to hope for maybe like a screen touchdown or maybe like a little flip touchdown to get us those points that we need. We're only looking for probably like 17-ish points from Gainwell to put us where we really want to be for running back slots. After that, we got our 3 wide receiver positions going into this DraftKings weekend on Sunday. 3 guys are going to be Marvin Jones Jr., Michael Pittman Jr., and Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson is going up against the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns got a very stout defense, and I really don't think that the Pittsburgh Steelers' offensive line this year is on par that they have been since Big Ben has been there. Big Ben has always been protected, I feel like, since he's been a Pittsburgh Steeler. And this year they lost Villanueva, they lost a couple other guys, and it's a whole new O-line. So it's going to be a lot of Najee Harris, obviously, but I think the Cleveland Browns are really going to key in on Najee Harris, and they're going to stop him, which is and they got some pass rushers too, right? So Big Ben's not going to have, a plethora of time to throw the football around and sit there and wait for Chase Claypool to go deep. Deontay Johnson's going to be that guy to get out on the screen passes. Big Ben likes him a lot, so that's why I'm going to play Deontay this week. I think he's going to get a lot of PPR points, like 12-ish targets, hopefully 10 catches, maybe more, and a good yards, and hopefully a touchdown for us. After that, we got Marvin Jones Jr. Going up against the Seattle defense. Marvin Jones Jr. is also going to be filling in for DJ Chark, who's now out for the year. They just released that news today that DJ Chark's going to be out for the year. So who's going to fill those shoes? It's going to be Laviska Shenault Jr. and Marvin Jones Jr. So we're going to play Marvin Jones. He's set here at $5,900 to fit into your DK lineup. I do like this matchup. I don't think the Seattle corners are very stout, and I think Trevor Lawrence, again, has something to prove. The 305 game at Seattle, and I think I just feel it in my gut that Marvin Jones is going to have a decent game, and so we're going to play him this week. Next up, we got Pittman Jr., who's also, and it's fitting, we got the Astroworld helmet, Astroworld, out of this world. Shout out to Travis Scott. Players going astronomical. See, I got the Astro helmet on for a reason, right? See, everything's falling into place, man. Everything's falling right into place for me. Pittman Jr. Pittman Jr. is going up against the Tennessee Titans, who are the 32nd team against wide receivers as far as fantasy points goes. That means they are the worst team, the team that lets up the most points. They let up the most points for wide receivers. And Jonathan Taylor is questionable. I don't like Jonathan Taylor being questionable on my injury report. I was thinking about playing him because Tennessee doesn't have a great run defense. They got an okay run defense. But when I see that questionable on there, as well as a wide receiver who just had a big game, and he's 6'4", not to mention, Carson Wentz is going to be looking his way, man. I seriously think Pittman Jr. is going to have like a 30-point game this week. I think he's going to have a really good matchup against Tennessee's corners, who, just like Seattle's, are not that stout. So, yeah, he's going to be our astronomical player of the week. That's our third wide receiver, Michael Pittman Jr. of the Indianapolis Colts. Next up, we got our tight end slot. Tight end slot, I also really like this pick this week, too. We got Hunter Henry from the New England Patriots now, but they're facing his old team, the Los Angeles Chargers. It screams revenge game. It's got revenge game all over it. And they are the third best team to play tight ends against, the LA Chargers. They let up the third most points against fantasy tight ends. And it screams revenge game. It screams fantasy points. Matt Jones is playing at a very good level. I don't think the New England Patriots are exactly, the team to beat. However, I see Hunter Henry getting a lot of points in this game against his former team. So that's our tight end position. Bringing us back down to our flex position. Last week, I believe I played Derrick Henry last week in my flex spot, and he got me good points for like a good RB low end RB1. I think he had about 17 fantasy points. So good, but I projected him to be our astronomical player, and I did not quite hit that on the button. We want the astronomical players. We want them like 25 plus, like, a ton of points in the 30s, hopefully. So that's who we're going to go for Pittman Jr. But in my flex spot, it's going to be Khalil Herbert from the Chicago Bears. I played him last week. He got me 21 points. And I believe he's earned the starting role over Damian Williams. Damian Williams is back this week. He was injured for about 3 weeks, but he's back. I think Herbert's play has boosted him up above Damian Williams in that depth chart up to the top running back. And I read a couple articles, and they're all saying the same. They're like, yep, Herbert should be the starter. He should be the starter this week against San Francisco, who has a pretty good run defense. I still think Herbert's going to get all the carries because Chicago's offense is just abysmal, man. I don't know what to think about them. They have good players, but they just can't put it together. They're going to rely on Herbert a lot to get him through those like third down and 2 situations, screen passes, goal line situations. So we're going to roll with Herbert at our flex spot, and hopefully he can get us about 17 more points like he did last week. And last but not least, our defense, special teams defense. Last week I did not project it well. Hopefully this week I can project it a little better. I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals facing up against the New York Jets, and all these players and this defense fit into your roster. I have 100 DK bucks left over to play around with here. So if a player gets injured in practice this week, I can switch it up. But I'm pretty confident in this lineup. I like the Cincinnati Bengals here going up against the New York Jets, who just lost their starting quarterback. They're bringing in Joe Flacco and some. I honestly don't even know the other quarterback's name that's projected to start. I don't. But so because Joe Flacco is going to back this guy up. I don't know that guy's name off the top of my head, but that pretty much goes to show you what the Bengals are going up against here. The Bengals defense, in my opinion, is actually very good. They have good pass rushers. Troy Hendrickson. They have a stout defense, and I think they're going to be able to contain the Jets and maybe get a couple turnovers, and that's all we're really looking for out of a defense. Hopefully a touchdown or 2. So that's my team that I'm going to roll with this week, and the Jets are also the best team to go against at fantasy points. They're the 32nd team, so they are a go for me. Cincinnati defense is a go for me. And that's my team rolling into Week 8, the Sunday early games. Unfortunately, I can't pull up the Sunday night game, the Vikings-Cowboys game. They don't have it up on the app yet. And I'm recording this on Wednesday, so this is being recorded Wednesday, 4 days before the games actually start. So I can't see what the players cost. Cook's going to be in my lineup. CeeDee Lamb is going to be in my lineup. And that's pretty much all I can think of right now. I know there's going to be the Jeffersons, but I just don't know what the prices of those guys are going to be, so I can't give you an accurate lineup for the Sunday night game yet at this very moment. But yeah, that does it for me for Week 8. Hopefully I can, get another stout lineup, get 170-some point lineup, 200s hopefully, and get it done. So that does it for me for Week 8 Halloween special. I hope you all have a safe and happy Halloween. Stay safe, guys. Appreciate it.